All right, everyone, it is Dokkan time. And today's how to build video is going to be for the newly super easy aid Buddying Warriors, Kid Trunks, and Kid Goten. So, if you've been playing for a while, this is probably one of the oldest freaking units in the game that you could possibly own. And it shows. It really does show. It's a pretty ancient old unit. They don't really have too much to really say, in all honesty. I'm gonna get attacked for this, but I would have to say they are potentially the weakest Super Easy A that we have received. I'm very sad to say that, but they are pretty much, yeah. They needed a lot more help than they gave. Arguably, you could say like Super Easy A Physical Goku Black was probably the weakest, but I would say this is a close second, or at least right in the same ball field. But anyways, if you're new to my channel, I basically make Dokkan build videos, and I will be making more Dragon Ball based videos in the future. I try to be somewhat more positive, and I apologize, I'm not always positive. I am a bald man. Bald men are naturally not positive. But we try our best. We try our best to be positive. Maybe have a cup of tea and just have a couple laughs. So, if that sounds good to you, be sure to Big Bang Kamehameha the like and subscribe button. And let's just jump right into it. So, if you are familiar with how these builds go, I generally go through the breakdown of a unit. I go through their defense numbers, roll tips, equipment, and build suggestions. I think I said one of those already, but anyways. So let's just kind of hop right in. So as far as 200% leader options go for this unit, I'm going to be real with you. They're basically the exact same as the new Intelligence Gohan, Goten, and Trunks unit. So this is the primary best leader option for this unit, and I would arguably say the only one. But of course, that's not true. There's always other options. You can just do a straight up Majin Buu Saga team. You can do Exchange Goku Vegeta unit teams. And even the AGL Kid Goku team would be very valid here. I think they are a decent unit to be running. I just don't feel impressed by them, is basically what I'm saying to y'all. Now, as far as his leader skill, it does not change, so it's still the same as it was before, which is Super AGL type Ki plus 4, 120, and then Extreme AGL type Ki plus 3, and 90. Now, this is already right where I... this is where the unit loses me already right off the get-go. So, on the 12 key super of this unit, causes colossal damage, raises defense for 1 turn. Yeah, that's great. 50% chance of transforming super attack and defense being reduced. Reduced. There is a 50% chance that a 12 key super will lower your defense. Yes. That's pretty bad. Really bad. So, if that's not shocking to you, then by all means move along. But anyways, on their 18 key super, they also do the exact same thing almost, to the point where they raise defense by 30%, and then they have a 50% chance of transforming their super attack, and the attack and defense being greatly raised for 1 turn. So there's a 50-50 shot you'll have some decent looking damage here. I can tell you right now this unit could have anywhere from 50 to 70 million damage on their super attack, and that's pretty nice. But let's continue moving on forward. Now, basic effects are Ki plus 5 to 10 randomly, don't ask why. Attack and defense 250% and 50% chance to dodge. Now, when attacking with 12 or more Ki, attack and defense at 200, 50% chance of 100% attack. Yep, 50% chance. Yep, that's nice. For every super attack performed, attack and defense of 77% up to 200%. So the unfortunate thing about this right here is that is for every super attack, meaning normals do not count. Only a super attack, and it's only up to 200%. So after 3 super attacks, you will have hit the max on this. Now, when 3 or more youth category allies are on the team, change Ki Sphere's STR to AGL, and all allies chance performing crit plus 10%. Now, when 3 or more Hybrid Saiyan category allies are on the team, change Ki Spheres of Tech to Rainbow. all allies' chance of performing a critical hit, 10%. When all allies attack in the same turn are superclass, attack and defense 150%. Slurring, I apologize. Chance of evading enemies' attack plus 27%. And then when there is an extreme class ally attacking in the same turn, attack plus 200%, defense 100%, and chance of performing a critical hit plus 27%. Very interesting random thing there, because there's two completely different types of teams almost, or rotations. I find it kind of interesting. But the unfortunate thing I have to say is that this is pretty mandatory as far as the dodge chance goes. If you were reading all of this as you were going and listening, you probably realized this unit doesn't have guard, this unit doesn't have damage reduction, its main defensive mechanic is dodge, and unfortunately, with only a 50% naturally in there, and the only other spot where there's any dodge chance being right here when it's a super class rotation, not just it's all allies requirement, it's pretty much mandatory that you go and dodge. You have to go super class or you might die from a super or normal even. We'll get into that with their defense numbers in a bit, but there's no reason to capitalize on this extreme class ally point, but it is interesting to note. Also, another notation here. With 3 or more youth category and 3 or more hybrid, if these are both activated within the turn, you will simultaneously change STR to AGL and Tech to Rainbow all at once. These will both activate. I do like that all allies are getting an increased 10% chance of critical if you have both of these. It means that the new Goten and Trunks Intelligence Exchange unit will get more critical, which they actually do need. So this is technically a fine partner for the new Goten and Trunks, technically speaking. The only reason I won't suggest them as a good partner is because of the lack of links. They'll have a couple like Buddying Warrior and Innocence and Prodigies, but otherwise they do not share Shocking Speed, Z-Fighter, Shattering the Limit at all, and it's generally not really worth it if you actually use the Intelligence Gohan, Goten, and Trunks properly. Now, category-wise, they're on decent amount of categories, and as far as link partners go, like I said, you will link up pretty decently with the Goten and Trunks, but you can get a lot more better link partners with the Goten and Trunks, just purely based on natural support, and then just straight up better units overall. I mean, there's the difference between a 60% support and 80% support alone just right there. You're getting a lot more support from this Goten's actual support, not to mention a better tank, just because he has 80% damage reduction. So, although this is a good partner option, I still don't technically suggest it at all points of time, mostly because this unit only has 77% chance to dodge. 77% is the main defensive mechanic is really rough for me. If they hit 80%, that would be different. And there will be instances where it is possible for them to have 80% dodge chance, yes. Please don't bark at me. I know exactly what I'm talking about here. There is the possibility you can increase the dodge chance just based on this Goten and Trunks right here. The problem I have is that the only time that this would activate is if this intelligence Goten and Trunks actually received a super attack on the previous or current turn. So unless they actually receive a super attack, they will not give allies that 5% dodge chance. So on the chance that the enemy does not super this Goten and Trunks, and you end up getting supered on these guys, they need to dodge, or you will die, and that'll be the end of your run. So, but anyways, with all that being said about their breakdown, I do want to, before we go into the defense numbers, because I know people are going to ask, the equipment. So this unit does technically have equipment. They have attack orbs and defense orbs of level 8. They have a level 4 dodge with a defense level 2 orb, a level 2 additional orb with a level 2 defense, and yeah. So I don't think these orbs are good at all whatsoever. In fact, they're worthless in my opinion. A lot of people are going to probably be like, no, Joe, you should equip the dodge and defense orbs. And I'm going to tell you right now that these two will not make a big enough difference on their defense. I'm sorry. It's just not enough. The unit doesn't have guard. The unit doesn't have damage reduction of any form whatsoever. And, well, as I'm about to show you, the defense numbers are going to be not that crazy. But just for another disclaimer on that, these equipments are only available through the Training in the Clouds. Training in the Clouds is temporary. It will not return a month later. These equipment orbs will go away. They will be unobtainable after this time period. So on August 22nd at 8 o'clock a.m., this event will go away. You will have a small period of time where you'll still be able to exchange the Proof of Masteries for those said equipment orbs, but once it refreshes, they're gone forever. You will not be able to obtain these. So if you are watching this in more than likely like September or October of 2025 or plus, then you are not able to acquire any of these equipment orbs for this character, as they have been removed from the game. So unless the developers choose to just bring all of the equipment orbs back randomly, then which would be nice, but at the time of recording, they have not, and I see no reason why they will. So with all that being said, let's move on to the defense numbers. Alright, these defense numbers are compliments of Halvard over on Twitter here. They are pretty specific here, but on a full superclass team, post 18 key super, 2 million. If they magically double super, 3 million. Full build up, 2.7 million, and then if they double super, 3.3 million. With the double LR active of the new Goten Trunks unit, specifically the Goten and Trunks LR active, you can get that to a 3.8 and 4.6 on a double super. That double super has to come from your hidden potential, by the way. And then the 40% support could be from anywhere, but 4.1 million is pretty decent. I will tell you that. 4.1 million defense is very good, but with no damage reduction, no guard, it basically means that they tank normals. But every single super in the game, well, that's true. I apologize. I need to make a new character emote of me hitting the ground and apologizing. I apologize. Every relevant meta fight has above 4 million damage. In fact, I will say that every meta-relevant fight at the time of recording of August 8th, 2025, will have above 4.5 million damage. If anything, it'll be above 5 to 6 plus million. So what this means is that, unfortunately, without any damage reduction or guard to speak of, they will die on any super attack from a meta-relevant current fight. So, full dodge is an understatement here. They need to be full dodge, or else you might just lose a run just because their entire purpose and main defensive mechanic failed you. So, with all that being said, let's just go ahead and move on to the roll tips, alright? So, roll tips wise, as I always say, top right hand corner, 55% we'll start off with. I would honestly suggest just throwing a level 5 dodge silver and a level 2 dodge bronze. If you have a level 3 bronze dodge, go ahead and throw that to him. This is one of the few units I would say does need that level 3. You probably don't have, I don't think a level 6 silver exists, so. But for a 1 dupe build, it'll be pretty similar. You're going to go bottom right-hand path, as you can see at top right-hand corner of the screen, bottom right-hand path. Level 9, you can get your dodge up to from 3 of the 4 nodes. With your equipment, that will go up to a 16% chance to dodge. Naturally, you'll have a level 8 additional, because there'll be 1 node left out of the 4. There's no reason to give this unit crit. They have basically a 50 to 70 plus percentage chance to crit. I think that's good enough based on their lacking of defensibility. I think that their defense is more important. And considering their main mechanic is dodge, that is what we're focusing on. The additionals will help, but unfortunately it's not enough to live primary super attacks. If the additional was enough to live like a 6 million super attack, I would change this to a full additional build. But there is also the chance that if you do use additional focus, you will lose defense. There is a 50-50 chance you will be losing defense on the 12 key super. So additional is actually hurting this unit in some ways. So it is entirely up to you if you really do want to decide on if you want to use an additional based build. But additionals, although will do an extra set of damage and will technically raise your defense, you could simultaneously lower it, and it's not really doing much else for your defense at that point. So, but anyways, moving on. Moving on to the full dupe build. This is 2 dupes and above, so bottom right hand path and top left path is the correct order of operation for 2 dupes and above. Now, I just suggest going full dodge, I really do. And if you know me and you've watched my streams in the past and videos, you know that I am not somebody that advocates to dodge. So when I tell you that a unit needs dodge, I do it means that it's the truth. It really it's the truth, man. Like, if Joe Saiyan says full dodge, it's full dodge. So, but because you'll have an extra node left over, you'll naturally be at a level 11 additional because this is an AGL unit, and then 27 will be your dodge number with 2 level 5 dodges and a level 2 dodge in the bronze. Now, moving on to the roll tips. These roll tips are going to be pretty similar in that they're going to be looking exactly like the Goten and Trunks roll tips. Same leader options being the Exchange Goku Vegeta units. AGL Kid Goku as a good leader youth option. The best leader, of course, being the new Int Gohan Goten Trunks unit. Partner-wise, it's going to be straight up youth and hybrid Saiyans. That is part of their kit to gain gain more critical and orb changing. I think that orb changing is pretty important in all honesty, especially for the Int Gohan unit. So I can't emphasize enough that these are probably pretty freaking important to get. It's also one of the very few things you can actually take use of out of this unit. So otherwise, just best partners are going to be physical Goten and Trunks, the new Int Goten and Trunks also. Actually, you know what? There. I went ahead and added the intelligence Goten and Trunks in there because they are a good partner. They do help the Goten and Trunks with their critical hits, and it's a pretty good partner for them. But unfortunately, I will say their best slot position is not 1. If their dodge chance had hit 80% dodge chance, you know, if you actually do get into a situation where you have the intelligence Goten and Trunks right here receive a super attack, if they received a super attack, and then they were able to give allies that extra 5% dodge chance right here for 2 turns, that is the one time I would argue this unit could potentially go into slot 1, because at that given point of time, with the 50% here, with the 27% down here, that's a 77, plus the 5% from the other intelligence Goten and Trunks, that would give them a grand total of an 82% chance to dodge. And 80% is that threshold where I am much more secure, much more confident in the unit's dodge capability. So at that point, I would say they can probably hit slot 1 and be potentially fine. The odds are in your favor at that point, but being below 80% is when I get a little sketchy and my dodge luck is just terrible. It might not be the same for you. Your dodge luck is probably very fantastic at 70+%. Meanwhile, I die every single time. Don't worry about it. I'm only a little salty. But anyways, I still suggest them in slot 3. They are one of the few and only non-Super Saiyan-esque units to be thrown onto this team, and that is losing quite a bit of links and damage also. So that's why I still suggest them into slot 3, because they just don't really intermingle with other Super Saiyan-esque perfect lead or partner options. So it's more just to kind of keep the flow, you know? But anyways, I think that's actually going to be it. There's not much else to say about the Super EZA Goten and Trunks. I think it was a little bit early in my personal opinion. I think they could have waited and gave them more. I think there's other units that could have gotten an easy A or a super easy A over them. But overall, I'm sure I'll find some use for them, and I hope you do too. Please do let me know what teams you use them on, what fights. Did they actually come in clutch and dodge a super for you, or did they do an insane amount of damage? Please do let me know down in the comments below. And thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a good day and a good night.